The HTC One, Samsung Galaxy S4 and Sony Xperia Z, the three hottest Android phones right now with three impressive sharpshooters. Giving you a quick overview of each phone, and the HTC One is loaded with an ultra-pixel camera. While only packing 4.3 megapixels, it boasts an advanced sensor and optical image stabilization, making it a low-light champion. The Samsung Galaxy S4 and Sony Xperia Z both have 13 megapixel Sony Exmor RS sensors. While the Galaxy S4 boasts some quirky smart features, the Sony Xperia Z has the most camera-like user interface. But in plain Jane automatic mode, which takes the best photos? Starting off with good lighting, and the Samsung Galaxy S4 triumphs. Despite the HTC One offering the widest angle and getting the most content in the shot, the S4 pulls out the most detail with the best dynamic range, just edging ahead of the Xperia Z. Moving on to macro or close-up mode, and with strong lighting, the S4 once again wins. While the Sony Xperia Z's contrast and saturation are a bit more visually pleasing, it over-sharpens the image. This zaps detail ironically. The HTC One overexposes the light areas, despite producing attractive bokehing in the background. Staying up close and personal in macro mode, only this time dropping the lights, and in a turn for the books, the HTC One knocks the S4 off its top spot, thanks to its optical image stabilization. The S4 just beats the Sony Xperia Z though. Why? Because the Z produces a sharper image, but it's over-processed and the white balance isn't quite as accurate. High contrast scenes are always a nightmare for cameras, but this doesn't seem to faze the HTC One or Sony Xperia Z. They both come in joint first, delivering decent detail in the room. The Xperia edges ahead of the HTC One, pulling out detail in the glass. However, the HTC One's white balance is significantly better. Moving into a dark room, and the ultra-pixels and optical image stabilization of the HTC One win out. This is with the flash off. Despite the Xperia Z falling behind the One, it still manages to pull out a semi-respectable shot. However, the S4 gets more grain than glassware. The HTC One, in complete contrast to the other two, actually pulls out something that's altogether pretty decent. Turn the flash on and it's an altogether different story. Thanks to an incredibly bright dual LED, the S4 delivers the best flash on image of the bunch, with the HTC One coming second and the Sony Xperia Z finishing last. So that wraps up our camera comparison. What have we learned? The Sony Xperia Z is the all-rounder. It's reliably good, but it doesn't really excel in any one area. The HTC One manages to beat the competition indoors and in low light, while the Samsung Galaxy S4 goes for gold when you're outdoors and when lighting is abundant.